Good afternoon, it's 5:15 and I'm James Prophet. Here are your headlines on Quays News. A woman has been killed as Storm Doris brought up winds up to 94 miles per hour along with snow and rain across the UK. West Midlands Ambulance Service said the woman has suffered very serious head injuries after a piece of debris fell onto the street in Wolverhampton. We'll have more on the storm, which is affecting us locally. The fiancé of children's author Helen Bailey has been jailed for 34 years for murder. Ian Stewart was convicted of secretly drugging and suffocating Mrs Bailey in a plot to inherit her near £4 million fortune. Salford City Council are funding a new support hub that will offer support to homeless people across Manchester. And a new study has shown that eating 10 portions of fruit and veg a day make us live longer lives. Storm Doris is battering Britain with huge gusts of winds, and Manchester residents have been advised to take precautions when home and driving. Our reporter Jess Tiswell is fighting the tough conditions right now. What's it like down there?
Although tomorrow afternoon there will be some sunny spells across Manchester, but Saturday the rain is going to head back in across the region. The Met Office have issued some amber weather warnings across Manchester for the weekend.
Good.
Is the storm going to continue across the weekend? Sorry about this. Apologise for the technical difficulties. Thanks, Jess. We also went and spoke to people about how the weather has affected them today.
We've come from North Wales, so we were in two minds whether to come or not, but we've come anyway. We didn't want to spoil our day out, so yeah, all's been okay.
The traffic was particularly bad this morning as I was coming in, and I live on a wooded lane, and so there were lots of branches on the road, so I had to navigate them, and my lane is up an incline and it was just a river of water coming down, so that was a bit of a fun challenge.
I'm debating about the cancellations. There might be cancellations tonight or delays, so I'm just going to debate how to get home. But I'm getting here, it's been quite bad. Like, even walking over to uni today, the wind was just blowing me everywhere. They ran back into the chancel. It's just like, but it's blowing me now. It's just been mad. It's just a very mad storm.
City Council bosses are creating a plan to cut down on the amount of rough sleepers in the Manchester area by making an all-around-the-clock hub. A council review into the city centre found rough sleeping and begging to be a top concern of the public. So by offering more support to the homeless, we will hopefully decrease the vast numbers of people on the street. I went to find out more. Also wanting to create an emergency hub which will provide evening and weekend support. Do you think that will help the issue?
I do, because you've got some people to talk to, and people will be out pointing in the right directions.
Yeah. What do you think that people can do to help rough sleepers out and give them the support they need?
Back in the day, they didn't just have that, and you used to know as it goes to like night shelters.
Yeah.
You could go on canal streets and like night shelter. Places in the morning, but you've got to bet wherever you're coming from, you've got to walk all them miles to get to the place.
There's not enough places local around.
Not enough local places. I know there's food banks and places like that, but people haven't got the amenities to cook it.
As the homeless issue has been a major concern for the public, the council have decided to tackle the ongoing issue by creating the emergency hub, which will provide evening and weekend support which is not currently available.
You can't go on a street corner without someone being there. I don't think it's right. It's not fair anymore.
What do you think people can do more of to help rough sleepers and give them the support they need?
It's nothing much. All you have to do is give them a bit of money, feed them, I don't know, just help them be better at living. It's not fair.
I spoke to young volunteer worker Hanny Igger as she shared her views on the matter.
Like, what they need is a helping hand, just someone to kind of lead them toward the right direction, which is, I think the hub will do that, you know what I mean? And without that kind of initial help, then there's not really much they can do, is there? Then
what do you think people can do more to help rough sleepers and give them the support they need?
Literally anything. As a volunteer myself, like, anything helps. Like, if you used to just go about the streets, maybe hand out some blankets, or if you was to even go into the hubs and actually sign up as a volunteer, like, anything helps really.
Hopefully 2017 is the year that Manchester cuts down on the amount of rough sleepers there is on the streets. Undercover police officers have been deployed to monitor Metrolink ticket machines. The issue is the most prevalent in the City Zone and the Rochdale line. Transport for Greater Manchester want customers to report anything untold, including customers not receiving the correct change. Now, did you think that eating 5 a day would be healthy enough? Well, according to a new study, eating twice as much may give us longer lives. The study completed by Imperial College in London has discovered that this type of diet could prevent 7.8 million premature deaths each year. Francesca Eagleton went to find out more.
Well, I suppose what makes it different, this study different from the rest, is that it's a very, very large study. It includes 95 other smaller studies and over 2 million people. The type of study is a meta-analysis, and what that is a mathematical, systematic way of putting together all the data from the small studies. It's not that 5 a day is not enough anymore, and that we should now suddenly be consuming 10 portions of fruit and vegetables a day. This study is good evidence that consuming a lot of fruit and vegetables prevents cardiovascular disease, certain cancers, and can help us live longer. However, the study is taken in isolation. It is fruit and vegetables in isolation. The 5 a day message takes into account the entire diet, and it is set as an achievable goal for the UK population. At the moment, the UK population are on average consuming 4 portions of fruit and vegetables a day. About 25% of our population meet the 5 a day guidelines. The 5 a day guideline is a target for us to try and reach. If we were to meet that, then we can go beyond that and strive for higher levels of fruit and vegetable intakes. But realistically, reaching 10 anytime soon is not possible for the population, although it may be possible for one single individual to meet those 10 portions of fruit and vegetables a day.
Now we're on to today's sport headlines. What?
You've got no script on the paper, no?
There's nothing on the thing there.
Oh my God.
No, not in
Thanks,
this.
James. I'm Isaac Beach, and here are your sports headlines. Wayne Rooney's agent has been spotted in China earlier on, sparking even more rumours that the Manchester United legend will be moving to the country next summer. Jose Mourinho has confirmed that the United striker might not be with the club next season. Manchester United got through to the last 16 of the Europa League last night after beating Saint-Etienne 1-0. Eric Bailly got sent off, and early goalscorer Henrik Mkhitaryan went off injured. Leicester City lost 2-1 to Sevilla, but will be hoping that the away goal from Jamie Vardy will give them a chance in the next leg. With the F1 season upon us, the new cars are being unveiled, and Force India will be hoping to finish third, despite a slight slope in the nose of the car. Finally, local rugby union side Sale Sharks director of rugby Steve Diamond has been banned for 6 months after admitting to abusing officials at the Harlequins game earlier on this month.
Thanks, Isaac. New MMA star on the block, Jack McGann, is pipped to be the next star, and our sport and entertainment correspondent Jamal Niaz went to speak to him at his training centre.
How's training gone for your next fight against Levan Makashvili?
It's been great. We're about 5.5 weeks away now. I've been training for about 6 weeks. Intensely anyway. I'm always in the gym. This is what I do. You know what I mean? I haven't got another job or anything like that. So I'm a true professional. I'm in all the time. But the past 6 weeks, it's been the intensity's picked up, and then we've got 5.5 weeks to go. We've just finished a good sparring session and some top boxers then. But yeah, I can't wait.
Jack has also rubbed shoulders with some big stars outside the ring, with him able to call Oscar-nominated actor Tom Hardy a close friend.
I think he probably appreciates someone working hard and getting somewhere, do you know what I mean? So I think that's why he chose to help us a little bit, and he just done a good look video for us. Yeah. And then people liked it, and then since then I went to the premiere for Legends and stuff, and seen him there, and I speak to him on the phone and stuff, and he's but that's the same again. It's just like I just see him as just Tom, just mates. So
Now on to the entertainment news, and the jack of all trades, Jamal Nias, is here in the studio to talk to us about what went on at the Brits. So Jamal, tell us everything you know about who performed last night.
Well, I'd say perhaps the biggest performance of the night, James, was between Ed Sheeran and Stormzy, who performed a remix of Ed Sheeran's single of Shape of You. The song is actually going to be released on iTunes tomorrow, and both are releasing solo albums next week. What's interesting for me as a fan of both is that the acceptance that grime culture has had in the Brit Awards and mainstream music, in that last year, during Kanye West's performance of All Day, Stormzy was merely a backup dancer, and he actually mentioned that on one of his songs, Shut Up. And now he's on stage with Ed Sheeran, one of the biggest stars, not just in Britain, but in the world. And other performances, I can tell you, go through all your performances if you want. There was a tribute to George Michael by Coldplay lead singer Chris Martin. Quite controversial considering that Adele has just paid tribute to him at the Grammys. From a personal standpoint, I was a big George Michael fan, and Fast Love was a very happy song, and I feel that even though it was a tribute, it kind of put a harrowing, quite not so nice spin on a happy song. But I understand that it was a tribute to a legend. And then the big laughing moment of this year's show that was quite similar to Madonna's moment last year where she fell off stage was Katy Perry's performance, which was just crazy. It was politically charged. It had Theresa May and Donald Trump in skeleton suits, and surrounded by people dressed as houses, and one of the houses actually fell off stage, like Madonna did last year. Yeah.
Well, the Brits aren't a stranger to controversy. Do you feel like that moment was the most controversial of the night?
Yeah, I do. I definitely do, because it's more and more music becomes musicians are becoming more politically vocal and representative of a lot of young people's political views. So I do think it was very anti-establishment, representative of both the UK and the USA.
Do you feel like that was the right thing for Katy Perry to do, to voice her opinions at the Brit Award and use it as a platform to get it out there?
She's a very powerful figure. So a lot of people are gonna look up to her and are gonna, adhere what she's saying as fact. So I think mixing politics and music is a dangerous game, but I guess she looks more empowering doing that, so fair play to her. But in terms of awards won last night, Drake won Best International Solo Artist, and he was actually away. He's on tour at the moment doing a European and UK tour. He was in Birmingham last night, so he actually couldn't make that. He's just released an album the past year, Views, and he's got an album coming out next month. I'm a big fan of him, so I was happy with that.
I am too, so I was happy for that.
There was also you talk about controversial moments and upsets. Tribe Called Quest won a big award for their album that released last year, which is surprising considering the names that they beat. They've been a big rap group from the 80s, and they've had sort of a resurgence recently. They're going to be performing at Park Life this summer. Do
you feel like they deserve to win?
I mean, not so much for this album, because it wasn't the strongest work, but I feel that as a underdog story, it's always nice to see an unlikely winner. And I think based on what they've achieved in the music industry over the years, I think they deserve a big moment like that.
They deserve their success, yeah. It's great.
And also, Little Mix were the big winner for the night. They opened the performance. They were opening performance of the night, and they were very nervous before, so that's always nice to see them overcome that.
And then do an amazing performance as well, like they did.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Great talking to you, James.
You too. Thank you. And that's all we got time for today. Thank you.